You fully married a man and you had kids.
Okay, I never really shared this before, but I basically fell in love with a woman as a happily married straight woman with a HDB flat and a proper job and a university degree.
You must have just like shut down that part of yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm so good at dissociating and compartmentalizing and everything you need to survive in Singapore.
So Hello everyone, so I've got a very special, very interesting guest for you guys today. I am with Nebulous Niang.
Hi, I'm Nebulous Niang. I am a stand-up comedian, based in Singapore at least, and I introduce myself on stage kind of jokingly as like Singapore's biggest lesbian. I have 2 daughters. Yeah, I think I'm a pretty unique combination of like lesbian mom in Singapore. Also, I'm in a relationship with my girlfriend. It's an interracial relationship, so I just like to talk about all of these things in my comedy.
I remember just being like so captivated by you because you have such an interesting story and you just have such a way with comedy that I feel like is very refreshing and very fun.
Thank you.
So before we get into that, I want to like dig a little bit deeper into who you are and what makes you the interesting person that you are.
Am I interesting?
You're very like, hello. Did you grow up thinking you were heterosexual?
Well, I was born in 1984 and I grew up in the 90s, and I think at the time there was not even a concept of not being heterosexual. It was not even a thing that was in the consciousness, you know. It's just what you do, you know. It's like you grow up, you get married, you have kids, the end. I just never quite questioned it, although I definitely felt differently, but I just didn't have the emotional fluency or even the language or anything like that to, you know, jostle me out of that very heteronormative mindset.
So you said you had an inkling, something wasn't right.
Yes.
So what was that? What was that inkling? Was it like, okay, you didn't find any guy particularly attractive, or that you did also find women attractive, then you were a bit confused about that?
I think there were just like numerous signs at every stage of my childhood and teenhood and young adulthood, and also now still, that I was not straight. Even in kindergarten, you know, you just have like crushes on the female kindergarten teachers. I remember just wanting to be a boy, and then when I got older, I would not have crushes on boys but on girls. But I still had a boyfriend. You know those like lower sec boyfriends?
Damn, alright.
Right, did you have one of those lower sec boyfriends?
It lasted for like 2 days.
Same. Like, first of all, it's very hard to talk to a boy. Like, what's there to talk about? Can you tell me, like...
Would know.
So, you know, at the time people still talk on their phones. It was like 1998, right? I would just tell him every day about all these girls I had crushes on in school. He'll just be like, you know, maybe you shouldn't be so like obsessed about her. I'm like, but why? Like, isn't it natural? Then I just like, you know, complain to him about all these girls like not paying me attention. I had no clue that guys were hitting on me because I think of myself as a guy. I'm honestly not familiar with like trans kind of like concepts. I don't really think I'm trans, but I think because of how I was brought up, there are men and then there are women. And then women like men and men like women. So if you like women, you are a man. And it doesn't help that I'm not very feminine. I would end up on these dates with men, which I didn't even know were like dates.
What did you think it was? Like a friendly...
Yeah, because you know, they'll be like, hey, let's just hang out. And then they'll like give me a set of earrings or something. I'm like, what's this for? And then they'll look at me like as though I'm supposed to be happy, you know, and then they'll like me and stuff, and I'll be, that's gay, like, don't. You know, like, that's homo, stop it. I think it was just a lot of that kind of experience.
I think for me it's like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because I've always been like a very big romantic. Yeah. I think it's all those freaking MediaCorp shows that you just watch.
Oh my god.
And you're right, like growing up in the 2000s, I already felt very much like heterosexuality is a way of life. Like you have to find a husband, you have to marry him, you have to be the best wife ever. My mom literally taught me how to do housework with the intention of me serving my husband.
It's like you got to be good at housework, then you can get a good man, and then you will have a good life.
And I thought that love was only available between a man and a woman. So I did chase that and I did have ideals about that. But it was always very difficult for me to date. I would have crushes, and then when I actually got together with the person, I'm like, ew.
Gross, right?
Right? It's like a bit like, what's wrong? Like something's not right.
Right,
you know?
right.
My true awakening, I guess, thankfully, at the turn of the 2010s.
Whoa.
the L word,
okay.
like there's queer people, which is why I feel like queer representation is so important.
It is extremely important.
Right?
Yes.
My first crush was on someone who was very masculine.
Yeah.
It was a girl but very masculine. I was in a girls' school. That's when I also got exposed to the idea of like lesbians. I was so confused because I was like, do I like her because she's masculine and she reminds me of a guy? Do I know that she's not a guy though, so like what's going on?
Yeah.
And I have liked boys in the past. Yeah, I think I see myself more as like pansexual, bisexual, someone who doesn't really care too much about gender when I love someone. So maybe it's like a little bit different from yours.
Yeah.
But I have definitely tried to date men that were very much not suitable just because they were men, and I felt like that was what I needed to do.
Like do, right?
Exactly. Just try lor. What you know, like what's the worst? Like everybody keeps talking about this beautiful thing called love. Everyone keeps talking about how like, wow, like this is gonna be such a fulfilling thing, and like you can have your happy ever after. And I did think that marriage was the goal. Like just the same as graduating from uni, then marriage was the next like
and then your
milestone.
life ends and your life is complete, right? When actually it has just like the torture has just begun.
Wait, so I actually want to talk to you about the fact that you fully married a man and you had kids. How was that like? Did you have feelings towards your then husband? Like, did you genuinely,
I definitely did,
right?
For sure.
Okay.
Because apart from like, gay or not gay or whatever, it's still a person that you do care for. And I think at the time, I also didn't really know what love meant. I feel like my understanding of love has kind of evolved over time. And I think because, I got attached to that person at quite a young age. I think I was barely like 19, and so was he. At that age, looking back, you think you know so much. You think you got it right. And it's the furthest thing from it. Like anyone who's lived beyond 19 is looking back at 19 and be like, that was not... I thought I knew so much, but I didn't know anything. And I think because I didn't really have the chance to develop my sense of self as a person at all before getting attached. I married him too at 24. That's like way too young. But at that time, like you're talking about the concept, the notion of like romance, of happily ever after, it seems like a really nice thing to do. Like, hey, I only ever had one boyfriend, and that's
the Singaporean dream, right?
Right? It's not a normal or healthy narrative. I'm not saying it doesn't work for other people, but it definitely didn't work for me. And I know a lot of other people who have been negatively influenced by this kind of like concept. And it was also my quest for stability, because I also went to like study overseas, and I just thought, oh, it'd be so nice, when I get home I have this like stable job, and then I have like a stable relationship, I have a home. I always wanted to have a home, right? It just seemed like the right thing to do. So obviously I did care about him. I spent so much time caring about him. Is it love if you are with someone to just take care of them and like make sure they are not unhappy? No, it's not. Like it's only really recently that I realized life is not about avoiding unhappiness. Bing! Like I had no idea. I had zero emotional intelligence. I just didn't. Like, when did you realize that? Like I never knew that.
Honestly, maybe like 2 years ago.
Right? Same.
It's the second puberty that hits you, man.
Is it?
You're like post 25, post 30 sometimes, for you to actually realize like what life is really about. Because when you're younger, you're so preoccupied by ticking off the markers of success and achievement and the milestones that people have set for you, that told you this is the recipe to success and to happiness.
Yeah.
You just want to like feel like you belong and you feel seen, right?
And that you kind of like succeeded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. According to, I don't know, society's
From
idea.
the outside looking in.
Yeah, no, I was like, honestly, perfect, like happily married Chinese straight woman. Okay, not that being Chinese is an objective, but like happily...
It's definitely a very privileged position to be in, to
right,
be fair.
yeah, it's like, you're married, you both have like university degrees, you have jobs, and then you have the 2.1 kids, and then you have the house, and then you have the car. It was just very mindless, I think. But after a while, everything catches up with you. Yeah.
What do you mean?
In all of secondary school, everything, I was just having crushes on girls like crazy, right?
Wait, did you go to a girls' school?
Yes.
Did you not have that like kind of come up?
In what sense?
Like, did you not see other people be queer and then go,
Oh my god, there were so many queer people.
Yeah?
So honestly, it's on me because I had the concept, but I was like, oh, lesbians, you know. And then I remember being really uncomfortable when anyone did anything lesbianic with me. Like my friend, she would be like, "Come, Joyce, let's go toilet together." And okay, I understand girls go to toilet in pairs. I support that. I'm scared of ghosts also. But like, she would always hold my hand to walk to the toilet, and I'd be like so uncomfortable. But she's a freaking straight one now.
Was she gay then?
No, she was not. She was just like a proper
just a
person in
girlfriend.
touch with the emotions or
I
like
see.
whatever. I didn't like being hugged. I didn't like, being touched. And I realized now it was kind of a rejection of myself because I love hugging and I love being touched now. But back then I just couldn't be open with people.
Right.
As well as with myself. I was just living in my bubble. Like I had friends who were in netball. All the netballers are lesbianing, right? Pretty much.
Got a few.
All.
All? Really?
All. And I wasn't even like, I gotta get in on that. I was like, okay, you do you. It's like my sister is also gay. And she has been like very honest with herself since the beginning. No questioning as far as I can tell.
Some people just have it so easy.
They do, right? I just remember she was watching all the seasons of the L Word and we shared the same bedroom. And I literally basically also watched the L Word with her. Nothing connected. I just, okay, that's just my sister being gay.
You must have just like shut down that part of yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm so good at dissociating and compartmentalizing and everything you need to survive in Singapore. I'm very good at being a Singaporean.
Damn.
Yes.
So So you shut down to the point that you actually just went ahead with marrying someone and having kids. Did you want to have kids?
No. It's funny because I always had that kind of motherly feeling. Like, okay, in my dreams and since I was a kid, I always dreamt of having a child one day. So I know I'm meant to have children. And I think in concept, I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to have children now. But then because, the relationship was not going so well, I had my doubts about that. Yeah. But of course now with the children, I'm just so happy that, I have them in my life because it's really changed me as a person. I believe for the better.
Okay. How so?
It's funny because people tell me I'm motherly. Do you think I'm motherly? Be honest.
Because you're not the stereotypical like maternal figure that we've come to know. Like the maternal figure is very feminine, very caring, very nurturing. So maybe you're not feminine, but I do still think that you are very nurturing, you're very caring, and you make people feel comfortable around you. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because I know you more as a friend and I haven't tried to breastfeed you or anything. When I was working in my corporate job, what I enjoyed most was really interacting with my teammates who were of course younger. Not that I wanted to breastfeed them, I did not want to breastfeed you. People would be like, yeah, Joyce is so motherly, she's so nurturing, and that's what role we want her to play on the team. And I never really realized that until it really did strike me that was what I enjoyed most about my job, like helping people who are less experienced become more experienced at the job rather than like the actual job itself, but we can talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I do like unironically refer to you as Niang sometimes.
Yeah, thank you. That was the point, yes.
Yeah.
Niang, 我是娘.
Well, how old were your kids when it all caught up with you?
I didn't even have kids yet. I feel like I was like maybe 1 year into the marriage, and okay, I never really shared this before, but I basically fell in love with a woman. Yeah, who I had met kind of through work, and this completely threw me off. I was suddenly having all these feelings which I had last had in secondary school. Those intense crush feelings, like butterflies in the stomach, no appetite, like really obsession. And I was feeling it for this grown woman as a happily married straight woman with a HDB flat and a proper job and a university degree. It was so troubling for me. I was like, this feeling should go away. Like, it is not convenient and it confuses me because I am straight, right? I have a husband. So it was very, very troubling. I just couldn't get her out of my head, like Kylie Minogue. I just couldn't, and I hated myself for it. I was so ready to live my happily ever after, right? And then these horribly intrusive feelings came in. Not that I'm a victim, but It feels that way, right?
Oh, 100%.
When you have a crush on someone, you know how it feels, right?
Yeah, when it's super inconvenient and when you're married, like
There's the whole part like, I am married, I should not be feeling this way. And then there's a, why am I feeling this for a
straight.
girl?
Yeah.
Right? And I felt a lot of shame, actually. I even shared it with my husband at the time. I don't think he knew how to like deal with it either. So he was like, you know what? You should just get to know this girl. So then the feeling will go away.
Oh.
And I'm like, very good. Good idea. So I did get to know her, but as you can imagine, the feeling did not go away. And in fact, she kind of reciprocated. Yes. And she was also older, hot.
Ooh.
And
like what kind of hot?
Like hot.
Like what kind of celebrity style of hot? Like Kat Dennings hot? Like Kate Blanchett hot?
No.
No, like CEO hot. Like dark feminine hot.
Actually, she's an alien. Like, okay, dark alien, but also kind of like artsy.
Okay.
Like into like, watching like French films with a lot of sex,
She sounds like a manic pixie dream girl.
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
But also hot because like she drove her own car and then she had long hair. And she was gonna get married.
So she had a boyfriend too?
She had a fiancé. And she was like actively making marriage plans.
Oh.
When we met up.
So how did you know that she actually reciprocated? Did you of course you would ask her or get to know her better under the guise of like being a friend, right?
Yes. And that was
just
actually that was my actual full intention. Okay, I tell you something, okay? I already knew from just like before we actually met up properly that she was going to get married. She's preparing for her wedding, and like actually most straight women, this is like their dream come true. It's like the most important time of their life. They're like freaking super excited about it. Don't know why, invitation, flower, all this thing. So I figured, okay, to make this straight woman happy, I shall talk about her marriage. But when we met, we talked about her marriage. She's just like not interested. She's like, oh my god, I'm so scared. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, is this the right guy? Blah, 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 blah. And I even made for her this like pop-up card of like a freaking 3-tier wedding
That's so
cake.
gay.
It's very gay because like, I need to like express my feelings through my hands, I mean, a freaking elaborate like pop-up card that was very in your face, like boom. So I like 3 tiers, tong tong tong, with the candles, like boom.
Oh my god.
And I showed it to her on our very first like date. And I was like, Broom, hope your wedding goes well. And she literally almost fell off her chair and she like recoiled. She was like, ugh. And she's like, okay, keep, put away.
Oh my god.
This is not normal straight woman things, right? No, right? I think after that was just this very intense period where she would like ask me out at like 1 a.m. and to go to like Kranji Dam. Not Kranji Dam, like Lower City. Like all these
that
like
is super queer.
dark places.
Queer.
And then,
okay.
I was so confused. She would do very gay things. I'm extremely awkward. Could you tell I'm extremely awkward? Like I'm just like this. Like I'm like this when I'm with someone who I have a crush on. I'll be like, and she would just be this manic pixie dream alien, and she would sit me
just
down,
sexy and airy.
yeah, she just and then she would like, she'd like be sit next to each other, and she'll like snuggle up to me, and she'll like lean her head on my shoulder, and she'll like put her hands on my thigh, and we like hold hands and talk about our dreams, which would not involve marrying a man.
Oh wow. Okay, wait.
But also talking about our husbands.
She definitely thought that she was straight too, or she maybe was a little bit more self-aware.
Aliens do not talk about these things.
Oh really?
No, they do not.
Damn.
To this day, she might still be in denial about the whole thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That really threw me, and I actually told my then husband like all of these freaking confusing things. I'd be like, she's asking me to go to like Yishun Dam at like 2 a.m. Like, what do you think she wants to do? And then I would actually just be like telling him about all these things, because like who else am I going to talk to about it?
Yeah.
Right? He just told me like, okay, look, you do whatever you want, like just don't tell me anymore.
Oh,
and
man.
being very not versed in like emotional intelligence, that was simply an instruction typed into a program. Alright, he said, continue and do not tell him. And then it just went on like this for like many years.
With this same woman for many years?
For 7 years.
Oh shit!
I know,
oh my
that's
god!
like even worse than whatever I previously told you. It's crazy, right? Now that I'm saying it out. My life comes in cycles of 7 years. I mean, I think now I'm able to laugh about it, but it was like the worst 7 years of my life until the next 7 years. But yes, because she also was not available to me.
Yeah.
It's like she
ended up marrying the guy.
Yeah. She had 3 kids, I had 2 kids, and we would still meet, like we'd go for her kids' birthday parties and we'd pretend everything is fine. And there's just a lot of like pretense as far as I was concerned. Over the years, she just seemed to get like unhappier and unhappier. And I was like, you know, we could have avoided all of this if we had just been together and you had not married him. But I think maybe she was also kind of trapped in the whole story, right?
So you knew that it was an emotional relationship.
It felt like one, but we never kissed.
Never kissed, never did anything physical.
Apart from like, you know, holding hands and like caressing and spooning in bed.
It's okay, y'all can laugh in the background, it's fine.
It adds to it.
Yeah, our partners are in the background, by the way. Are you okay with us talking about this? Yeah. Okay. Oh my god!
That frustrated me to no end because I think over those 7 years...
You must have had the longest blue balls ever.
Yes. No, you know what? I didn't even... It took me all of those 7 years to realize that like, I actually... you know, want to like
kiss her and hold her.
I actually want to kiss her and I don't have to be. Well, I was ashamed because I'm supposed to be happily married. Also, I am actually married, and like it was just so much shame. And you know, I'm a very physically affectionate kind of person, and to me, like, yeah, it's like your partner is the one person in the world who you can get that from, and I wasn't getting it like in my actual marriage, and I wasn't getting it from her. So it just felt like I was giving myself to people who just did not prioritize me. And then because she's the one who can actually make me feel like so excited. She would always get my hopes up, like, oh, we'll meet on this day, and then nearing the day she would cancel. And it was just so sad. And then I always thought that it could be. There's also a lot of shame about like being gay, and I just couldn't accept it. But it took all of those 7 years with us popping out children and being straight and everything for me to realize, like by the end of those 7 years, I was like, okay, look, I really actually do want this woman in a gay way. And it took me all of 7 years to get there. Meanwhile, there's all of like the pain associated with like childbirth, and then like there's all of that emotional and mental energy of like bringing up 2 young children and all of the stresses that brings to a marriage, and it was a really tough time.
Oh shit. I had no idea.
I know, it's just I'm just hoping that sharing this could help other people who might have gone through similar things, although please don't take 7 years.
I think you may have helped some people shave it down by like half. Maybe 3.5 years is fair.
Good, got discount.
Oh my god, that is crazy. So
Thank you for letting me get it off my chest.
Oh my god, no problem. Thank you for sharing that with all of us. Did you ever tell her about your feelings?
I did.
At the end,
just kind of ignore it. Yeah. Lian what?
She like 别想太多了.
Yeah, correct. Basically that.
Oh my god.
Because even after, so basically everything fell apart, and at the 7-year mark, I went to study overseas to do my masters, and I brought the kids and my husband along because I thought, okay, look, everything has kind of gone to shit, and maybe 1 year alone will give us some, you know, time and space away from everything in Singapore, and we could rebuild. But as you can tell, it kind of went the opposite way. So I finally managed to like ask for the divorce because I had tried to end the relationship several times prior, and I think he always wanted to try. Then when I came back to Singapore, and I told her everything. I was like, you know, I was in love with you for so many years, and now I'm like gay, and I have a girlfriend now. And she was just like, okay.
And then
when we were walking back from the restaurant, she still held my hand and walked.
Lady! Back off, dude!
So then that threw me even more. Like, so what did any of this even mean to you? You know? I'm sure it meant something, but maybe if I were to be generous, I think she's also still working through it. Because remember, she's older, right? So like even more of that kind of
like significantly?
Was it 7 years?
Damn, another 7 years.
Oh yeah, 7 is a very interesting number for me.
When you were asking for your divorce, did you explain it's because you were queer?
It was definitely a part, but I had been asking to break up since we were like early 20s.
Damn.
Even before I went through all of this, because we were just not happy together. I was not happy being with him, and I had asked like a few times, but he always wanted to try.
Right.
In a way, if I had been happily attached to a man, I would probably not even have been pushed into this whole journey of, hey, actually I'm gay. I would have been dissociated my entire freaking life.
Right.
With happily married to a man, or at least not unhappily married, because the objective of life was to just avoid pain. But I was actually in pain. But if I was with someone who I was not in pain, just like cruising every day, bring kids, go tuition, go shopping,
just go through the motions, go painless, okay lor.
That would have been my whole life.
Yeah.
And that scares me.
Yeah,
that scares me. That was how dissociated I was. And there's people who like, they live their whole lives like that. Comfortable.
More than we think, actually. That's what I'm starting to realize now.
You don't even have to be gay.
Yeah.
You can be straight and everything, and just not realizing that life could be so much better. Not necessarily because of your partner or whatever, but you're just not living it to its full potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I definitely had that mentality growing up.
Yeah, tell me more.
Also because my mom instilled that in me. My mom is very much a realist, a pragmatist. She's told me like time and time again, like your number one thing is financial stability. You need to have your own money, you need to be independent, and you also need to be with someone who doesn't make you miserable and who doesn't make you broke. So like I grew up with this mentality like, okay, financial stability and marrying a good man, like an objectively good man is the goal. So in my head, right, even when I did date like guys in JC or something, I never wanted to have sex with them. And I think I felt kind of bad. Like I felt bad that I couldn't like offer sex to them. I think I had it in my head as like, oh, like if you don't, then they'll find it somewhere else. So I would literally tell them, I was like, you can go and have sex with other people.
Oh my god.
It's okay. Like I'm okay with it. Literally for me, because I was like, you're not gonna get it from me, so like get it from someone else. I think like
but
what
do you think
said,
that's a gay thing, or that's how you were conditioned to think about men?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think both played into it. I was a bit scared. Like a lot of that came from fear, losing your virginity, fear of STDs, all of that, right? Like a fear of pregnancy. Like I was always terrified.
Fear of pregnancy.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm terrified of it.
So was they pressuring you to have sex?
No, but I think that we would kiss and then things would move in a certain way, and I would be terrified that it was moving that way.
Right.
All I wanted to do was kiss. I was very happy with kissing. I like kissing.
Okay.
So then after that, I was like, okay, like you can have sex with someone else. At that point, I was a virgin, so I think even more so, I wanted to do like one shot, one kill, like first boyfriend, first husband, like nail it, success rate 100%. It's crazy because they would all always be like, don't be ridiculous. I will never do that. Of course, I don't want anyone else but you. Then I'm like, but why? I think it was also because like it was crazy because as much as I love my mom, she lives in a very patriarchal world, and I think that she may have a lot of internalized misogyny.
For sure.
So she has told me from very young, men only want one thing. I was like, okay, if I ever had a husband wealthy enough to be able to support me, I can. So at that point, I really wanted to have kids. I wanted to have 3 kids. If my husband can support me and my 3 kids, and I can stay at home and comfortably take care of them, I will make sure that I will raise them to be the best kids. I will give them all of the opportunities that I didn't have. I will make sure that I'll be present. I'll be a damn good mom. I'll be a damn good housewife.
You would be.
I think I would be.
You would
honestly.
be, yeah.
I think I would excel.
I can see you already, like, I'll be one of the fabulous mums outside the berries, you know, the tuition center. And I'll be like, oh, that girl's so hot. Too bad I'm straight.
Literally, I like fantasized that. I was like, for all of that, a good trade-off would be he can have a xiao san outside.
Maybe that's how all the women are operating.
You think so?
For all you know. Even if they're not gay.
It's just something that I made peace with. Maybe I just didn't understand love also. Maybe I didn't understand how it would deeply affect me if the person I love was actively like loving someone else and not really showing me that sort of thing. Because like you, I had been programmed, maybe not so robotic, but I had been programmed to value financial stability.
Yeah. Okay, let's turn the tables down.
Wow.
So let's just hypothetically say you had like a girlfriend who was everything, like everything that you know, you are that perfect housewife, and then you have the career girlfriend or business girlfriend or whatever, right? Who's like going out, and how would you feel about the whole situation, like having the xiao san?
If it's Sweet Baby Angel. No. That would be so out of character for her.
Okay, so that's the gay part, right?
In theory, those things could be okay until you're actually in a relationship with someone that like you actually would feel a certain type of way. I think that even if I was with someone else, like another high-flying girlfriend who just wanted to have more people, I think that I just probably wouldn't be in a very serious relationship with that person. I might be the 小三 instead, you know what I mean? Like I don't mind like having a more casual relationship with someone like that, unless like I really felt like this made sense for me. Yeah, it's hard to say. Like
Unless it's hard to like peel apart all the different layers of it, right? Because it's really all enmeshed.
Exactly. But I think just like basing this off of Sweet Baby Angel,
yes,
it would be so out of character that it would change how I know her, I think. And also like I don't really feel like I need to at this point compromise. So like part of growing up is also realizing that you can be your own rich provider.
Yes, which actually your mom did tell you, right? Like you gotta rely only on yourself.
Last time, my expectations were pretty low because I think that I had pretty low self-esteem. I was pursuing arts. And people will always tell you, prepare to be skinny because you're gonna be struggling to eat, right? So I was like, okay, like it's not really very
skinny.
It's a low bar to beat. I have higher expectations for myself and for my partner now. But I don't know, is that a weird like?
No, I don't think so. And I think it's about moving from like a fear-based approach to like a whatever the opposite of
like a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
To a mindset of abundance.
Oh yes, abundance. That's right. Yeah, you know, because I think it does make a difference. Because I guess the basis of whatever programming you were given, probably partly me too, is fear.
Yes.
And then when you're working from a fear avoidance perspective, you're gonna get very different kind of outcomes than when you're looking for things out of like, I don't know whether it's abundance or like there's some other word for it, but it just feels different. Even if you're doing the exact same things, it will feel different and it will bring you different things.
Yeah.
And that's why you have Sweet Baby Angel.
Yeah. It's crazy because like, I mean, I think for the most of my life, and I think because of the way that my mom has been brought up, she's very alien to how I live my life actually. And if you really think about it, like our generation of women are the first generation of women that are able to choose to want to live alone and to like stay single and to, you know, all of that, which like this generation for most women that has become accessible all of a sudden. So I think that sometimes like my mom doesn't even really recognize that. You know how like some people cannot really think about quality of life until they meet their standard of living.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, it's literally like being in a survival mode until you feel like you don't have to worry about your own survival.
By the time they reach that point, they're so used to being in survival mode, they can't turn it off.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty standard for like our parents' generation.
Yeah. I think it has taken me quite a few years, I'm still learning it now, to like really break out of that mindset and to want or to hope better for myself. Because there are some people who grow up really privileged and who think that the world is their oyster, and I really admire that because it drives you to push yourself even more, way more than you think that you can, and that way more that you think you like I deserve, for example.
I used to feel very guilty about pursuing what I love or like not doing what was expected of me, but in a way my parents, because of all of whatever they've been through, which is a lot actually, in a way I am honoring that suffering. I as a parent, I don't want to go through all that pain for my kids to go through the same pain. I mean, okay, life is going to have challenges anyway.
Yep.
I don't want them to have to repeat the same challenges that I went through. It's that I want to do stuff to enable them with whatever kind of resources, like emotional resources, actual financial resources, whatever, so that they can have a different kind of challenge in life, you know? So I try to apply that to myself as well. It's like, my parents have been through so much crap of a certain kind, and I think that's enough. And now I'm going to use whatever they have given me to forge my own path. And like, you just got to keep getting better. You can't possibly let yourself be stuck in the same thing, which is what you would be doing if you fully absorbed all of the things that your mom was trying to tell you in all good intentions, right?
Yeah, that's so true. That's a very nice way to put it, girl. Oh, wow. So how did your parents react, like with your divorce and then now with your career shift?
I was going to ask you the same thing, but I will answer first.
Okay.
When I told them about the divorce, I think they kind of already knew I had been unhappy for a long time. So I kind of, like you, I wanted to drop all the bomb at one time, not like bomb. So I did it as an en masse kind of thing, like, okay, I am divorced, I am also gay, done. I think the divorce didn't really surprise them.
Then I called it. I see someone like, it's like they've had a bet and then they exchange money.
It's like okay, it was very surprising to me because I remember my dad said to me, "You have done your duty and provided us grandchildren." So basically, implication is whatever lah, do whatever you want now. So that was surprising to me because I had not been even aware that I had performed the duty. But okay. Whereas my mom, I think she took it harder. She was like crying. And she couldn't really say anything. And then later when I asked her about it, she said she cried because she realized then that I had been through so much pain. Yeah, and I don't know whether she meant like in terms of like an unhappy marriage or like the future pain of being gay or whatever. But all in all, they took it pretty well. Like it could have gone so much worse. My girlfriend, they've just completely accepted her as family, as they have with my sister's girlfriend. So I think it's as good as it could possibly be.
So did your sister come out after you?
My sister never actually came out. You know how you know, you kind of just after a while you kind of get the message. Bring the girlfriend along for, you know, family holidays or events for like dinners, and after a while I was like, okay, got it. I mean, at least for my close family lah. I think some of my extended relatives are still like, why you got maid?
Okay, wait, just for context, Joyce's partner is a Malay woman. So we can also hop on like the interracial aspect of your relationship later. We
That'd be
have things to
fun.
talk about.
We do.
Dude, this is so juicy. Do you know, like every time we hang out, we literally like want to just talk about something, do something small, want to do a puzzle or whatever. And then we just spend like 4 or 5 hours talking.
Yeah, it
non-stop.
becomes a whole exploration into the human subconscious.
Oh, but you're so deeply interesting.
Oh, thank you. So are you? Okay, so now you gotta tell me how
Okay.
your parents reacted to you coming out.
Okay, so when I was 16, I tried to ask my dad just to get dip my toe in the water, just sort of like test. I was like, what do you feel about queer people, like gay people,
Okay.
lesbians? And then he said, oh, you know, God made them this way, so
Oh,
you know,
wow,
it's
okay.
it's fine. Like some people are just different. So I was very encouraged.
Yeah.
So I was like, what about bisexual people? And he was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh, people that like both men and women. And then he was like, that's just weird. That was the only conversation we've had when I was literally like 15, 16. So I would literally be like, oh, so like, what do you feel about bi people? Then he was like, that's just weird. Like,
Oh, so
what?
like must choose one lah.
Yes, he literally said, you
okay.
must choose. How can you not choose?
How would he
Like,
know?
what is that? Like,
How
I was
would he
like,
know?
oh god. So then I was like, alright, like, we're never having on this conversation ever again.
Like basically, it's okay if my daughter is with a girl, but not if she's like a slut, right? Choose everybody.
Maybe he also had the same mindset that you have, which is that like men like women and women like men. I don't think he really thought about it as like my daughter, because I was just asking like, what do you think about queer people in general?
Okay.
So maybe he's like, oh, there are some women that look like men that like women, and there are some men that look like women that like men.
Right.
So maybe that's the kind of binary, because I do know that a lot of people still tend to conflate gender identity with sexual orientation, right? I kind of did what your sister did, basically.
Okay.
Once I started having girlfriends, I would just bring them over and be like, this is my girlfriend.
So, but you actually say girlfriend lah, but then the thing is like the normal, like straight kind of girlfriend.
I think maybe because my ex looked a lot more masculine and looked like a boy, so maybe I think it was a little bit more understandable. You know, visually
But
you
did
just
they
look
say
and then
anything?
you're like, okay.
Did they say anything?
No. Well, my dad and we don't really like have deep conversations. He's your stereotypical like quite aloof, introverted like Chinese dad. So he doesn't really like have conversations. But I think that he's always been friendly to both my ex and Sweet Baby Angel, and I think that he shows his support by like liking my social media stuff and like watching. I think
He watches your stuff?
Yes,
You
so-
told him you do stuff?
yeah. When I started doing YouTube, like they were very supportive. I would literally catch my parents watching my YouTube videos together.
Oh, that's nice.
It was really cute, and I think that actually really helped them understand me as an adult a lot more, because I think that I'm a little bit different from my siblings. Like, I'm
Right.
queer. I pursue something like very creative and very different, right? Like they didn't even understand like what this job is. So by being able to watch me online and for me to be able to share all these things about myself, my personal journey, honestly, after my first boyfriend, which was like a bit of a disaster, they were like, 开心就好. They were like, okay, you've tried once. Like if
Yeah.
you know that it doesn't work for you, then they're not gonna maybe force me.
That's pretty nice, because they could have
Yeah.
been like, try again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. My favorite thing about my parents is that they've never really had set expectations for the kind of person that I should be in life. They've just always always sort of left me to my own devices, and they've just always been like, c'est la vie, you know?
That's nice, that's nice. Yeah, that's pretty not Chinese.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, they're just very like, okay lah, like if she's just like this, I think they always knew that I was a bit like funky.
Right.
Like even as a baby, like I'm just a bit loud, a bit weird.
It's so like on brand.
Yes, exactly. They're like, oh, did we really think that she was just gonna marry and have kids quietly?
And okay, I think it kind of helps that it doesn't sound like you had a very religious kind of upbringing.
Yeah,
and that's a real stumbling point for many people.
Yeah, did you grow up religious?
No, not at all.
Yeah, there was a point where she did try to matchmake me with a random guy.
Oh god.
And I was like, you need to stop. Like, I'm in a relationship with Sweet Baby Angel, and like,
oh, you mean this is recent?
Yes, just a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago.
And what was the context in which she tried to matchmake you?
She just like, you know, one of her auntie friends, and then they're like, oh, I have a son.
As people do.
I was like, stop it, like I have a girlfriend, like I'm queer. Then she said something like pretty hurtful lah, which I didn't really want to like share, but she just made it a problem. And then I just told her kind of like firmly that like it really hurts my feelings, and
that's
like,
nice that you spoke up.
yeah. that is unacceptable. Like I don't want to be spoken at like that. And if you continue to feel this way, and if you continue like pimping me out to random mother's sons, then I will stop speaking to you.
Okay, I'm proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it helps that like I don't live like with her anymore, like like under the house.
That's another thing. Yeah.
So like she knows that if she wants to continue having access to me, she needs to accept this part of me and just like support me. But ever since then, like she's been very nice to you, very welcoming. She will explicitly say that you are very welcome here, and
everybody just needs a bit of programming.
Exactly. I think it's exposure therapy. Seriously, just hang out with enough queer people to realize that like, oh, we're actually not even just like normal, we are actually quite chill.
Yeah. We have no agenda other than for being chill.
Exactly. So how did your parents take you like leaving your job and basically like blowing up your entire life? Like, how was that?
I wouldn't know because I haven't told them.
Oh shit! Oh no!
No, okay. I've told my mom. She's just very supportive. Yeah, just like do what you love.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have been to your comedy shows, no?
They have. It's funny because my mom actually watched SLOMOSEXUal, the first one. So I think you were there too. And she was like right in the front row. And like the whole time long, she was just like... And then after that, she'd be like, okay, you were funny. You know, she did turn up, so I'm happy she was there. My dad also turned up for my comedy shows. My sister, my cousins, they do come and support.
Great.
My cousin actually said he learned more about me in that 1 hour than from like 40 years of going to family dinners together.
Dang.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't told them yet because quitting your very stable job of 18 years is one thing, and then to pursue a job which is extremely unconventional and has empirically very little success is another thing. And I think it does take a certain amount of faith, like blind faith almost, that things will work out as they should. And the thing with blind faith is that you want to surround... Okay, I feel safer when I surround myself with people who would support me rather than say all the usual stuff which you already have in your head because just from living in society. And my family matters a lot to me. It's a way of protecting myself because if I were to share, I would want them to be supportive and not say all those things. And then if it were to come from my family, it would hurt even more. And I'm sure you feel this too, like pursuing this kind of like unconventional career. You have your high moments and you have your darker moments. You really know the kind of like crap that goes through your head in the darker moments. For me, it's like 10:30 p.m. every night. It'll be like negative self-failure. It's like, how is this gonna work out? There's like all that. And then you don't need on top of that, and then also like my family said this and they don't believe in me, and like I'm still exercising my right to be avoidant with respect to this. But they'll find out sooner or later, and I will find a way to program them as well.
Okay.
Yeah. You can tell that if they say stuff is out of concern, but I think they don't understand that naturally you would have those concerns for yourself. Like as though who never hear before, oh, make sure you got savings, make sure you like do not blah blah blah. It's like, I know, right? You don't need to hear all this, right? Yeah.
I think like when I was starting out pursuing all of this and moving out on my own also, I definitely did hear a lot of that. I don't know if I wish I didn't, Yeah, I guess because sometimes it does stick to you, and sometimes you feel kind of like resentful or like a bit spiteful. Like you want to do things out of spite.
What do you mean? Like I'll show you. Like I'll show you that I can do this, or like what?
I had a lot of people being like, "Are you insane? Like that's a lot of money. Why on earth would you rent? You know that money is just going down the drain." One of my uncles thought that a man was paying for me, like for some sugar daddy. So I was like, why would you even think that about your literal like child? People say things based on their own experience and based on what they would do in their life.
Yes.
And I wouldn't take advice from someone whose life I don't want. This is an uncle, so maybe he just like couldn't even fathom the idea of like a woman living alone. Maybe that's
projecting his own understanding of
exactly
the world.
like he's like, how can you even afford that sort of thing? There must be a man paying for you. It was really hurtful to hear all of that because it all boils down to people don't believe that you can do it, right?
Yes.
Like,
your uncle was like, I was thinking about that time when I was a sugar daddy and someone was like
the craziest thing is like people can say whatever about you. Like people can assume. I bet like this uncle definitely thought that he knew me very well because he's seen me grow up all my life. But the truth is he doesn't know me at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like when your cousin said that he found out more about you than like 40 years of family gatherings, it's true. It's like you have such surface interactions and you only know one facet of this one person.
Yes.
And there's so much more complexity and depth that goes behind someone. So like when someone makes such a drastic decision as to literally quit the job that they've had for 18 years to pursue comedy in Singapore, it is a leap of faith, but it's also a calculated risk because I don't think that you're an unintelligent person. Like I don't think that you did it because you had a mental breakdown and you're just like, fuck everything. It's because you genuinely believe that your comedy can entertain people,
it has value,
affect people. It can really like change lives, like for lack of a better term.
So, influence people's thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, what is your goal with comedy? How did you even stumble on comedy in the first place?
Okay. So I've kind of mentioned this before on my podcast, but I'm not gonna expect everyone to listen to my podcast.
Oh, plug.
But it was kind of a divine intervention.
Okay, slay.
The past 7 years, which was after the past 7 years, which I had talked about, was also very difficult, like dealing with after the divorce and, you know, being with my girlfriend and trying to, you know, do good for the children. So we're doing this course, like self-help course together, and as part of the course you have to like write down 3 things that you want to be. And so I wrote down, okay, I want to be a good mom, I want to be a good partner, and I want to be, and then it just like came like a download that I want to be a stand-up comedian. It just came, like I had never thought about it. Like I like watching stand-up, just never thought of doing it. And so I just like wrote it down, and then the next day they make you cancel everything you wrote the previous day out, and then make you rewrite it in a way that terrifies you. So like for example, if on the first day you wrote I want to start hiking, right? You have to cancel that out and be like, I want to reach the top of Mount Everest. So I cancelled out that I want to be a stand-up comedian, and I was like, I want to be a world famous stand-up comedian. And then they make you like meditate on it, and then after you do all of the integration stuff, then you're like, well, I guess you got to start somewhere. So right after that, I signed up for like the open mics, and it's just been like a non-stop journey since.
This is in episode 1, guys. I remember this story.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for watching our podcast. Comedy and custody.
Comedy and custody.
It's actually really gay. Like there's nothing gay in the title or in the description, but it's actually really gay. So like you should watch it because it's a very nice contrast between me and Sasha Frank, who's my good friend, and another female comedian who's also a single mom. She represents like the straight people, and I represent the gay people, and we always disagree in a very fun way.
Cute, yeah. They just started. I think they have like a couple of episodes now.
Yeah.
If you want more of Joyce.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you know that comedy is a very straight, very male, can be misogynistic sort of like industry and environment. So how do you navigate that as someone who's queer, who's older, who's had a very stable, very square job for like 18 years, like as a mom?
Whoa, that's a big question. And I also like how you already started on the base assumption, knowledge that like comedy is very straight and male by default.
Everyone knows that, right?
It was very hard, like especially in the beginning. I think just throw aside the whole like queer and whatever, right? Just going in as a female comedian. I mean, I think things are getting better, but by default, it's still very much a male-dominated sphere, and the understanding of it can still be very restrictive to some people. So there's a lot, I think it's not just in comedy, but in general, there's always going to be people who want to like gatekeep something. This is what is called comedy. That is not comedy, that's crap. Like, so there's always going to be a lot of people who want to define something and exclude people and include people and make people work to be in it, or like, you know, push people out of it, or tell you what you should do to get in when you never even ask them. And there's, you know, there's like the showrunners, there's the audience. There were not that many female comedians at the time, but it's getting more and more every day, which is really good thing. Please try comedy if you ever felt that you were funny. If anyone ever told you you were funny, even if no one told you that, just try it if you feel like it. I think for at least the first year, every time the female comics did meet up, we would do it with like really good intentions, like, hey, let's like write together, let's like comment on each other's jokes. But then we just spend the whole time bitching about how we were being treated.
Right.
But I think you need to kind of get that out of the system. I think it's also because at the corporate workplace I was for 18 years, it was actually a very female-friendly environment. So it came as a huge shock to me, also coming from a very structured corporate environment where everything is very transparent. There's like rules, predictable, it's like accountable, which is the opposite of what the comedy scene or maybe any other like voluntary art scene is like. I learned a lot. Basically, nobody owes you anything. You gotta make opportunities for yourself, and you gotta also activate your intuition on like, who do I trust and who do I not trust? Who do I give my resources to and who do I not? Especially when you just start out in comedy, no one's going to pay you. In fact, you are more or less paying to be on stage because you have to like transport yourself there, transport yourself back. Why am I spending money to just feel like shit at the end of it? So it was a real learning journey, and as with everything that is challenging, some lesson will come out of it. So obviously I feel like a much more confident person because of navigating the whole scene. It's not like there are no more challenges now, but now I kind of know my worth. And I'm also better able to distinguish when like people who behave badly or say certain things. I mean, it may seem like it's about me or about my friend or about women or whatever, right? But it really, it's very hard to feel it, but it's not really about you. It's actually about them. You just happen to be the convenient target. So not letting yourself get affected, because in the end, why are you doing the comedy? You need to ask yourself that.
To get external validation.
There's the external validation, and then there's the, I'm such a funny guy, you know, I'm such a funny guy. And,
look at me.
I think like the world should enjoy my funniness and enjoy me, and like they should get a bit of me, right? I mean, I don't want to do it that way. I mean, yes, of course I think I'm funny. Why would I impose myself on you otherwise? I feel like it's about connection, or like you said, it's kind of about being able to influence someone's mind, because I give a pretty unique combination of views. I'm not just like a woman, I am also a lesbian, a millennial, a mom to 2 female children,
a girlfriend.
Yes, girlfriends and Charles. We are of a different race, and there's just so much to play on and all the intersections of that, which I think is a unique perspective. Even if you don't actually find me funny, I think there's a certain amount of power in going out on stage and just like sharing your life experience to someone who never even knew that such a combination was possible, and that someone is willing to be up there, give a face and a voice to like, this was at least one person's lived experience. And you know, it helps if it's funny, because then it goes down better. Personally, I don't want to do it just because I'm like, I'm so funny, please worship me. You know, like it shouldn't be like that, right? You gotta bring some value to it. You gotta believe in yourself, basically, which is what a lot of comedians, I don't think they actually do. It kind of forces you to reckon with a lot of the things that you are and that you are not. Like, I think when I first started comedy, I was still kind of scared to talk about what really mattered to me. Like, I keep to safe topics like what it's like aging, you know, what it's like being a Chinese woman, so many stereotypes, so fun to play on. And it works because like Chinese people really need to be taken down a notch. Some of my colleagues would start to find out about my comedy, and then they would come. That was when I started to say some gays. And then I was like, oh my god, she's coming. I better like, and then like during lunch break, I hurry up, come out to her.
Just so you know.
Just so you know.
I'm a show.
Yeah. Okay. yeah, like that. It's like, it was exactly like that. Actually, I don't need to do all this because like it's my show. You are coming to my show. Like if you don't like it, that is on you. I'm being me at my show. It kind of forced me to like become more comfortable with being myself. Take it or leave it. You know, I'm not forcing you.
That's the thing that we really loved about you the first time we watched your show. Just the most like original, like Singaporean, relatable type of humor into very like human topics, and you're sharing like a piece of yourself.
Thank you.
I think like people can recognize when you're being vulnerable and that you're actually sharing something with depth and with heart and with soul. And like I think that's why we just like gravitated towards you. Honestly, that's how we became friends. After the show, we were like, we love you. Can we be friends?
Can I tell you my version of the story? Because she makes it sound so chill, right? For Steph Dogfoot, she runs Xiao Troubles Comedy, one of two of Singapore's female and queer-friendly comedy shows. The other one is Lady Boss. So anyway, I remember being there that night, and then Steph, who like knows people, she was like telling me behind stage, she was like, there's a very famous lesbian influencer in the crowd tonight. I was like, ooh!
She actually said
she actually said that. Steph, you're calling you. Because I had no idea there was even such a thing as like lesbian influencers.
Am I a famous lesbian influencer?
You are. Well, it turns out.
Oh my god!
Apparently.
Slay. Can we keep that title forever?
I think you should change your YouTube channel. Famous lesbian influencer.
That's perfect.
I mean, how else are you supposed to know?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Not from my many rings.
And I was
You're
just
like, what is influencer?
Yeah. I was like, Okay, so the moment Steph told me that, I was like, okay, must make friends with famous lesbian influencer. I had no idea there was such a thing as a lesbian community at that point. Like, where got community? We all just doing things in the dark, right?
Hide in our little caves, and then we come out
Like, under
for
the
like 2
blanket.
queens every few months.
And then I noticed during the show that you actually I didn't even know what you looked like, right? I didn't even get the chance to like Google famous lesbian influencer, and Steph was like, do you not know who is like wordweed? I was like, so I just and you know, I'm like very high on adrenaline when I'm on stage, so I can't actually focus very well. Like what I see, I'm not sure is it like real. So I just remember a bunch of like really attractive women like at that site who were like very, very into my set. And I remember at some point in my set, at that point I was still not very comfortable talking to the crowd. I was like, am I right, lesbians? Maybe, did I say it?
Yeah,
and then
you gave us a shout out.
And then I was like, and then all this bunch of like beautiful women are like cheering for me, which is really, I mean, I talk a lot, but that's the only reason I do this. And it's like, whoa, I have like bunch of beautiful women cheering for me. This is like, I could die right now. You know, I'd be happy.
So it's crazy because you were like, oh my god, but we were like, oh my god, and you, because we were like, oh my god, that's a queer, lesbian, Singaporean like comedian, and she's so fucking funny. Like we can all get on board. I mean, we were spot on because you are amazing.
Thank you. And I'm just so happy that you even introduced me to the concept of like lesbian community and your posse. Everyone in that posse is so cool, right? It's like everyone has like something really cool going on, and they're all like strong, independent women.
Aww.
And it's like, you know, mind-blowing. Like I honestly had no idea. I just never felt like there was such a thing. And so thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of that.
Happy to have you as part of the community.
I would hug you, but I cannot reach.
Okay, just like that.
I think the main thing that holds people back from pursuing their passion is the very practical and necessary reality of like money, right? Like savings. I think I do come from a very supportive family. Okay, I haven't actually asked them for money because I do have savings, and I think the savings that I have was why my 18-year corporate job was necessary. So I felt a lot of guilt for many years about coming from like a sort of upper middle class kind of background. But then I realized everyone has their challenges in life, and they're all of a
That's
different...
just not one of yours.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it took a while for me to actually be okay with that. Some people, their challenge is emotions, money, or like whatever, and that's just not mine. But I have other things to deal with. My parents worked so hard, and in a way, I don't think they ever got to discover their passion, right? So, like I said just now, it would be such a waste if I inherit the same sort of like challenge. I want to like use the money that they have made to pursue my challenge. I would want my kids to do that.
Yeah.
Like, not I work hard so that you also have to work hard and then work this stupid job until you die and never get to pursue your dreams. In a way, I'm doing them justice. They may not see it the same way. I know not everyone can do this, but I'm doing this for the people who can't do it. Like, not everyone can do comedy either. You know, let's be real. But a lot of people can enjoy it. I am put in this position. I've gone through this particular set of life circumstances in this lifetime. Who knows what's going to happen in another. So I think that's been part of it. Plus also, I guess, the spirituality aspect, where I've learned to really just kind of trust that things will work out if you just like let them.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot about like letting go, I guess, which I've been kind of forced to let go of a lot through all my life experiences. And maybe this is another type of letting go, like letting go of this notion that you will be safe and you will be happy as long as you do the normal thing. You can't like reach for something else if you're holding on to something, right? You gotta let go of everything to receive abundance.
Yeah, that's true. How do you also like navigate pursuing comedy and sharing so much of your life? Like as your kids get older, like do they know that this is what you do? Are they aware of like sort of like your story?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they know very well that I do comedy. They are supportive, but also they're still young. I want to be able to like strike this balance because I want them to see that, okay, you know, this is what it means to like pursue your passion, like be your best self, even though it's hard, like to be brave, right? I want them to see that so that when it comes time for them to do that, there's at least some model. I don't ever want the time or the effort I spend on comedy to ever be seen by them as like detracting from my time with them. Of course, it's easier said than done because comedy is on a lot of like family time. It'll be like Friday night, Saturday night. I mean, I'm still trying to find that balance. Yeah, as far as possible, I try to like, for now when they're so young, avoid shows on those days unless it's like really special kind of show that I want to support. Like, I'm not going to ditch them for an open mic, but if it's like queer extravaganza that only happens once a year and I'm the headliner, like just one night should be okay.
Alright.
Yeah. Or like even going overseas to do like comedy festivals. That's a huge part of like being a comedian as far as I can tell for now. Every day is like developing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've got plans though.
I do. So my main thing for 2025 is I will be bringing my 1 hour comedy special, SLOMOSEXUAL, to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival 2025. That's in August. So I know that's going to be mind-blowing for me. I've been told that it's going to be really tough. Like, it's basically comedy boot camp. It's the only place in the world where you have, for one straight month, like comedy from like 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. non-stop every day, like thousands of shows on. I've been told like it's crazy. Like no normal human being will enjoy this except stand-up comedians. Like this is actually not going to be fun for like actual regular people. But I'm looking forward to it. You know, I've been doing a lot of traveling to do comedy. Like I just came back from the Melbourne International Comedy Festival and it was, I mean, I didn't even stay the whole way, but it was so cool to like be in a place where there's so many creative, passionate people and everyone's like just in the, you know, hustling. And it's quite sobering in a good way. Because I guess, you know, when you're from Singapore, it means one thing to be like a big fish. I'm not even that big a fish. Big fish in a small pond. And then when you go outside, you're like, whoa. It takes a lot to really advance.
Because I know that your comedy is very Singaporean and you do make a lot of like Singaporean jokes, which is honestly why I really want to highly recommend you guys to catch SLOMOSEXUAL, Joyce's 1 hour special. It is so good. Like I have never felt so connected with like a comedy special before. I think we've watched it. Have I watched it thrice?
Oh my god.
So highly recommend, even if you're straight. No straight people enjoy your show though.
I think so. I think that's what's quite important to me. Like to not only be like pigeonholed. I have resonated with like people who are like me, but I thought the power of comedy also lies in being able to reach out, because the theme is not really, I mean it is called SLOMOSEXUAL, but it's really about listening to yourself and being kind about it and kind of just accepting who you are, which I think is pretty universal.
From a Singaporean point of view, a lot of things in there are really so relatable. So to an international audience, like, do you have to change certain things?
Oh, for sure. I definitely need to tweak it, and I think that's all part of comedy. It has to be relatable in the first place. You can't expect people to come to you. You have to go to them.
Right.
And I think that's the whole joy of it, really, to figure out how to connect to everyone.
Okay.
As long as they're open.
Does the confidence to perform comedy come naturally to you, or is that something that you've literally had to like imbue yourself with?
Just copy the straight men who are not funny. Okay, no. Jokes aside, once you have the conviction, right, the confidence will come, and it's a reinforcing thing. Like you say something, then you see the audience respond, and like, oh, okay, you know, 90% of the time they're gonna go along with you when you say this, because you know you kind of have this concept of like the jokes that work like 99% of the time, the jokes that work like 70% of the time, and then you gotta like change up your set according to like the audience, how it kind of all flows. The first time you do it, it's the scariest. And then it's just like exposure therapy, right? After a while, you're just like, okay, you know, laugh, don't laugh, whatever, lah. Okay, up to you. As long as you don't hang your self-worth on the audience's reaction, which you learn to do over time. It's just doing a crappy thing many, many, many times. It's like, you know, if every day you go for Chinese oral, also not scary, right?
I don't know about that. I'm pretty bad, but maybe my Chinese will get better.
Actually, you're very funny also.
I'm funny also.
Yeah, in your reels, like you also have like so much like humor and like you comedic timing. You know comedy.
I always tell her she's funny, but she doesn't believe me.
Alright, so tell me about your beautiful girlfriend.
Well, beautiful girlfriend, we have been together for coming to 6 years, and I think our relationship really evolved a lot. It continues to evolve over time, which I suppose is how relationships should be. I have finally found like actual true love.
Oh, that's so sweet. Wait, can I ask, is she the first person that you dated post-divorce, or did you have to kiss a couple of frogs?
Okay, lah, don't call them frog lah.
Ayo, sorry. It was just a figure of speech.
Remember, you know, they must be pretty.
Okay, right. Your type is pretty.
Long hair frog. Long hair, beautiful frog.
So, but you had like dated a few people.
Yes, I've done like a lot of horrible things. Yeah, I'm reformed partially.
Well, so how did you know that your partner is the one? You don't like partner because business partner, you like girlfriend.
My girlfriend.
How do you find your girlfriend? I want next her the one.
I think you know it from the moment you're like texting. Like she could text in like full paragraphs.
Oh my god,
I
isn't
don't know
that such a turn on?
Yeah, I know, right? Wait, were you ever on the apps?
Yes,
because people like have no idea how to like talk, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like hello, and then they'd be like, okay. I already know she's special because she like has like fully formed paragraphs, multiple paragraphs.
Wow.
And then the moment we met, and it was like on Hari Raya Eve. So my girlfriend's Malay.
What committed?
Yeah.
Damn.
Cause got PH ma, so can like go out late ma. And then already I was like, oh my god, she's like Malay girl. How like what if like I offend her? What if I like eat a lot of char siu in her face? Like she used to just this pasta place which was not halal. So I was like, oh okay, so I guess she's more like flexible. And I remember I reached there first, and I was like, okay, I want to be like gentleman ma. So I was like, oh, can I get you something? Like what can I order you something first? Then she said, oh, just order me a red.
Ooh.
So I was like, oh, okay.
She wants a red.
It was just immediate. It's just like, yeah, and like she purposely cover a lot like on the date. She like purposely wear.
So you got different layers to review.
No, she like purposely. It's like, you know, underneath got a lot of things, right? But like she purposely wears how many, like 3-layer winter jacket, all this thing. Then I was like, ooh, she trying to. Okay, this is the toxic male part of me, but it's like, she purposely like want to make sure like first date never reveal everything.
Oh my god.
Yeah. She also gave me a lot of chance because although like I think from like waist up I'm pretty okay. Like
in terms of what? Like I said, like you pass for a woman?
No,
like,
physical appearance, right? I was like, okay.
I but look at your legs and thought that you didn't pass before.
Listen. I had just done this like surgery on my foot, and so I was like wearing bata sandals. Like auntie bata sandal, like you know the kind like underneath got the bum.
The Velcro one.
No, later on when we talked about it, she was like, you know, everything was fine except like bata sandal is a red flag. So I almost screwed it up because of bata sandals. She found me on Coffee Meets Bagel by paying like $4.99 to like retain me.
Oh.
So I very worth the $4.99, and like she likes to say she buy one get two free.
So cute.
Yeah.
So your kids also get along very well with your girlfriend.
Yes, very much so.
That's good.
Yeah. Spend time together as a family, you know, we go on outings, we go on holiday, she's there to like pick them up. I think they feel it. Yeah, they feel it.
I'm an avid listener of your podcast also, and one of the latest episodes, you actually mentioned opening the relationship.
Yes. Okay, I didn't mean it to like be such a big reveal. It just kind of like came along. Okay, I mean, I think it's not so like ta-dang, we are open relationship, but like
not a grand opening lah.
It's not like let's cut the ribbon and like open up the curtains. It's like I think it just kind of evolved naturally. I feel like I've been through a lot, and my understanding of love has changed a lot. And you know, love is not fear, love is abundance. And I have been warned against being so open about it, but that's just how I feel right now. Loving someone is not possession. It's not like you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you're mine only. Love is about freedom. Freedom. That was the word I've been looking for like 2 hours. I think love is freedom. Maybe because I've been in marriage and I've been in all these like crappy situations. I think it's more healthy, like when you have a crush on someone, even if it's just like a fleeting attraction. Wouldn't you like to be able to mention it to your partner rather than be like, okay, no way, but then she'll think that like I don't love her anymore, but actually I still love her, but I love her, that's why I'm sharing with her. It's like life is about sharing, it's about abundance. So I come very much from this perspective. So we've always been very open about like sharing with each other, like, hey, that girl your type, that one. Then she'd be like, I got a crush on this professor or whatever. And that's what it's about, right? It's like you shouldn't feel scared to like tell me how you feel, and I shouldn't feel scared to tell you how I feel. In fact, we should be celebrating this like very human aspect of ourselves, which is like, isn't being attracted to someone one of those beautiful feelings in the world? From that perspective, it's not even because she's going to study overseas or anything.
Oh, you guys were already talking about that?
Yeah. And I don't think it's anything to be like ashamed about or like to make a big deal about. But I think a lot of people who are not of the same kind of thinking, they will judge, right? Which is why I haven't been like super open about it, because they're very ready to be like, wow, you slut, is it? Just because you think about it that way, it doesn't mean I have to think about it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess we just haven't been, we only share with like people who we are very comfortable with, because there's always someone who'll be waiting in the background, waiting to be like, haha, I told you so. But again, check with me in about a year's time. But what's your thoughts on this?
I did think that was a possible option actually the whole time. Like growing up, remember I said, oh, you can sleep with someone else.
Like, why not?
Also, like just thought about it in general. Like if I would want to be in an open relationship where I have a primary partner, when I was single, I was also dating people who were in non-monogamous like relationships. So it was something that I was always okay with. But I think that in this current relationship, I still feel like I don't get enough of Sweet Baby Angel.
Aww.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's not in her character to want to do that, and I have personally right now like no interest in pursuing anyone else other than her. So for me, like I think it's not really something that we are keen on or that we're thinking about lah. But that's our personal preference.
So like when you have like crushes or like just, you know, fleeting attractions to other people, do you share with each other?
I'm the kind that like finds a lot of people attractive. I didn't really have a type, that's why I'm still like fucking pansexual, right? Those things are very insignificant. If they do cause any sort of insecurity, I feel like it's very unfounded. So I don't personally share that with Sweet Baby Angel. Also because still at the end of the day, like she's like my dream girl and she's the one I want to come home to. So the attraction for me, it could be a fleeting like physical attraction and then it just like goes away. Yeah. Well, we've been together for like almost 3 years. So maybe like things may change when we're further down the road, where we feel like very stable and we feel like we do want to explore.
Actually, now that you said that, I'm starting to question like, why am I so open? I think it's because I've always been able to like separate like physical affection than like you know, I told you the whole dissociation and
that
compartmentalization
totally makes sense, because we are the kind that cannot do that.
Yeah. I don't think my girlfriend is the same. Like she definitely has that whole like emotional investment thing.
Is this polyamory where you can have different relationships, or is it more sort of like non-monogamous?
Maybe it's my whole experience with like actual proper like marriage. I'm very like resistant to any form of like
Structure.
rigidity and
Right.
structure. It's like you want, you don't want. It's like we don't have to label it. Like I guess maybe there's that aspect, but like we have talked about it like quite a lot, about like what she'd be comfortable with, what I'd be comfortable with, and like how we would communicate. I think as long as like we keep talking about it, it should be fine. And like even if like there's feelings, like we can still negotiate that. Like to me it's not an issue, but like I said, check with me in 1 year. Also because like she enjoys traveling a lot. I seldom can empathize with people, but I can empathize with this feeling like, wouldn't it be nice to have like a girlfriend in every city?
I did fantasize about
Right?
that.
It's a nice thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's not even about like, you know, it's physical stuff per se, but just like, why not? I mean, I'm not there, what?
Just have one in every city.
Right.
Then you just like hop, like do a continental like hop,
Yeah.
you know?
And like they're perfectly fine with it,
Yeah.
because like they're just waiting for you to come.
Exactly. I did. For
You're
a
like-
short moment I fantasized about it.
You're like this baton that gets passed in this infinite relay race.
It's just
around
like
the
whoever
world.
you miss, then just go over. You miss, it's like the city and the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know
Right.
how much of it I was romanticizing it lah.
I mean, one has to dream.
I feel like we could sit here and speak forever.
We really could.
But you actually have to go and pick up your daughter now.
Yes, this is a hashtag mother life, your parent life.
But thank you so much for joining
thank you for
us.
having
You
me.
are the best.
Thank you. Are we gonna like hug properly? Because I
Yes.
spill all the water.
Yes, we
okay,
are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
It's been really
coming
fun.
on. Yeah.
Thank you for like listening to us.
If you guys want to hear more of Niang Joyce's stories, I just want to call you Niang.
Call me Niang, please.
You just have the energy of a Niang. So yeah, if you guys want to hear Niang's story, please go and check out her 1 hour special, SLOMOSEXUAL. It is amazing. If you want her in your ear, just chatting to you while you're on the MRT, you can listen to Comedy and Custody. I will link all of her socials down below, so make sure you check her out. I'm very happy. I learned so much about the 7-year thing. Is crazy.
So it's just the start of a new 7 years for me, and I have faith that it's going to be as transformative as the past 7 and 7 and 7.
777, third time's the charm, no? Mm-hmm. Exactly. I cannot wait for the world to see what a star you are. Seriously, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this episode, please feel free to like it. She's our first guest, like very brave. Let me know if you want Niang back again.
Ooh, in 7 years' time.
Oh my gosh, then we can track the journey. When she's a world famous comedian, I'm gonna have to book months in advance. No?
Ooh, we gotta visualize it.
Yes, manifest. Okay, Google, set a reminder for 7 years from now, 2032.
It's a date.
1:09 p.m. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.